What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Ethan. Hope you're having a great day. Welcome back to another vlog on this channel. We are back at it at Boston Billiards Club once again. Love this place. It's a gorgeous day. It's June 20th and post-quarantine poker has not been treating me well so far. We're in quite a hole, losing the last two sessions, and hopefully we can try to chip back up today just a little bit, just, you know, bit by bit. We can just maybe start off with maybe one winning session today, hopefully. We're gonna hop in there, check out the action. Comment down below if you want to win one of those free Rampage poker chips, the light blue ones that are kind of cool. Just a little custom chip there, so comment down below. I give away one per video and I pick one random person in the comment section. Also, a shameless plug, if you like golf and, I don't know, you want to watch me suck at golf and you want to feel better about your own golf game, I'm making golf vlogs. I'm getting into it. It's a nice way to get outside while everything is kind of shut down, I guess. So check a link down below. The channel is called Daily Nines. It's just me hitting shots, mainly shanking shots, and it makes you feel better about your golf game. So win-win there. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Hopefully we can run things up and let's get into the action. Early on into the session, we pick up ace-7 offsuit in the small blind with 300 in our stack, and we're playing 5-handed here. There's an open limp, then a raise to $7. The button makes the call and actions onto me. This pre-flop raiser earlier raised to $12 when he had pocket 9s, so I'm thinking maybe he has some sizing tells. So I put that to the test and I decided to 3-bet to $37. Only the pre-flop raiser makes the call and we're off to a flop. The flop comes ace, king, jack, rainbow, so pretty decent flop for us, I guess. Not a flop that I'm really willing to c-bet on, as we don't really get called by much worse. I decide to check, and as expected with some weak holdings, he checks it back. The turn is a queen. I check here, trying to induce a bluff because I don't think his holdings are really going to hit this board ever, but he once again checks it back. The river is a 4. Action once again goes check check. He shows a 4, so I take it down with my ace. It did seem like he did have some sort of weak holding, like a suited connector or whatnot, so looks like our read was right on this first hand. The following hand, we have jack 8 offsuit in the big blind, 6-handed, and it's a 3-way limped pot. Not really much to talk about pre-flop wise. So we're going to a flop, which comes 8-8-5 rainbow. That's when I start hitting the record button on this hand. It checks to the under the gun limper, who fires a bet of $12. Small blind gets out of the way, and I decide to just make the call here for 12 right now, and we're off to a turn. The turn is the last 8, so once again, we do have quads. What the hell is going on? I think it's a pretty decent spot to lead out with quads here because no one's really expecting that, but as played, I check, and he checks behind. The turn is a deuce. Here we have to go for value with quads here. We can't let this check through, so I decide to throw out a bet of $35. He folds, and we take it down once again with quad 8s. Next hand, we pick up pocket 6s in the small blind, playing 5-handed here, and there are 2 limpers to me. Typically, I might just limp this and put in the extra $1, but on a very limp happy table and a pair, I'm happy to raise this up even though we're out of position. So I raise to 15 and only one player makes the call, who's the under the gun limper. Flop comes 6, 7, ace, 2 diamonds out there, so awesome flop for us. Ace high board, and we flop bottom set. First to act here, I bet $20 and he makes the call. We're going to a turn, which comes the jack of diamonds. Not the best card as the flush does get there, but he does one of those things where he checks his cards to see if he has a diamond or not. So I'm pretty confident he doesn't have a flush here, probably an ace X holding. So after seeing that action, I decide to throw out a bet of $55. Trying to get value from ace X 1 pair holdings, he thinks about it and calls. The river is the magical, you really won't believe this, guys. It is the last 6 in the deck. Yeah, how the hell do we have quads twice again here? So now river and quad, something I just did not expect to happen. I'm thinking that he can call light if I decide to ship it, because we already know that he has some sort of ace X holding. So trying to get the maximum here, I decide to jam about $200-ish. He tanks for quite some time and ends up folding. I obviously have to show for the vlog, and we take this down with quads once again.
Show the board real quick.
After hitting back-to-back quads, we have this hand here in the small blind with 10-3 of clubs. It's a 4-way limped pot. I put in that extra $1 there since it's suited, and we're going to a flop 4 ways. The flop comes 9 deuce deuce, 2 clubs. I decide to take the aggressive route with our flush draw and lead out for $6. We get 2 callers, so we're trying to improve here, especially first to act out of position. The turn is the ace of hearts, brings in the heart draw as well. I am going to check here just to slow down, try to see a free river card. Next to act throws out a bet of $10. The other player makes the call, and here with our flush draw really priced in there at this point for $10, I shrug it off and put in 2 red chips as well. So we're going to a river. River comes the 8 of clubs, amazing card for us, and here with our flush, we don't want this to be checked through, even on a paired board. So I throw out a bet of $35. The under the gun player who bet the turn, he thinks about it and raises us to $100 actually. The other player folds, and here I think I have a pretty easy fold on a paired board. A 10 high flush can't be good here, so I think about it, but toss in my cards. And little do we know, the other player shows pocket deuces for flopped quads. They're really just handing out quads left and right here at Boston Billiard, so nice to win with quads and also lose to them as well. Following hand, we pick up queen 10 of diamonds in the big blind, playing 6-handed here with 450 in our stack. A player opens up the action to $7. The button, who's been playing very, very wide, makes the call, and here out of position, like I said, this player might have some pre-flop sizing tells, so I go with my initial read and 3-bet our suited Broadway cards to $40. Only the pre-flop raiser makes the call, and he covers me actually, so we're going to see what happens out of position here in a 3-bet pot. The flop comes king 9 deuce rainbow with 1 diamond. Pretty dry-ish flop. We do have a gut shot and some backdoor diamond draws, so I can have all the ace kings in the world obviously. So I decided to down bet to $35, trying to get a fold ideally, but I don't think I can bet. I don't think I have to bet too much if he misses this board. With my $35 bet, he goes ahead and raises to $100. My hand is just not strong enough to ship it on, unfortunately. Even if I do call, I'll have maybe $250-ish behind, give or take. So really just not given the right odds to make the call to go for our very slim chance of hitting a gut shot or a diamond on the turn. So I decided to make the fold. Later on in the session, he tells me that he had pocket kings here and flop top set. So clearly my read is way off. This next hand, unfortunately, I didn't record. I just really didn't think that this would be a significant hand, but here we are with 10-6 of diamonds in the big blind, and it's a blind versus blind situation, so small blind limps, and obviously I'm going to check it back, so we're going to a flop with $4 in the middle. The flop comes 8-5-5, 2 diamonds, so once again, it's a paired board, but we do have our 10 high flush draw. The small blind leads for $8, and here this specific player has been playing very wide. He's been tilting a lot, so I decided to call with our 10 high flush draw. The turn is a 7, so we do improve to open-ended along with our flush draw. He throws out another bet of $15 with only about $100 behind in his stack. From previous hands, he's shown the inability to really fold much, and also if I do hit any of my cards, he's going to pay us off regardless. So here I just call for $15 and we're going to a river. Hoping to improve, we improve to the deuce of diamonds, so we do have our flush here. Once again, for a third time, he leads into us for $25. I raise to $100, putting him all in. He snap calls, and we are good with our 10 high flush. So obviously, with $4 in the middle, didn't really press the record button on this, but happy to take this pot down. Shortly after that, we pick up jacks under the gun, playing 6-handed with 375 in our stack. I open up the action to $10. The small blind makes the call, and we're going to a flop. The flop is 9-4 deuce, 2 hearts out there, flopping our overpair. He leads into us for $5. I am not entirely sure what's going on here with this small bet, but obviously going to be raising. I choose a sizing of $30. He snap calls this $30 bet with about $125 behind. So we're off to a turn. The turn is probably one of the better cards we can ask for. It's the Jack of Diamonds. Perfect for us as we turn top set. He thinks about it for maybe a minute or two, and ends up mucking. He open mucks when we turn top set. I don't know if he's a genius or what's going on here, but we take it down, unfortunately not able to get more value with our jacks. Next hand after that, we pick up Queen 8 offsuit in the small blinds. We're playing this because it's an 4-way limped pot, so we're going to another limped pot in the small blind. The flop is actually not too bad. It's Queen 9 8, 2 diamonds out there. Really wet board, but we do flop top and bottom pair. First to act here, I decide to throw out a bet of $6. Let's just get some money in here with 2 pair. All 3 players make the call, so once again, going to a turn 4 ways. Turn comes the 3 of clubs here, with the backdoor flush draw in play as well. I'm going to be sizing up for sure with our 2 pair. I think any made hands that are beating us would absolutely raise on the flop, and this turn doesn't change anything. So I size up to a bet of $40, and we only get 1 player in the cutoff who makes the call. He has only $27 behind, so we're going to be committed to this $27 regardless of the river. The river comes the 4 of clubs, brings in that backdoor flush, and we're not really too worried about the club draw getting there. So I put them all in for just $27, and unfortunately he folds, so we still take that one down, and I guess limped pots are treating us well. Next, we pick up pocket 6s, 4-handed here this time, and we're under the gun. So I open up the action to $10, and it's going to be a family pot as all 3 players make the call. We're going to a flop 4 ways, and the flop comes 8, 3, 4, 2 spades. The big blind actually just leads out into us for $15. He did this before in a previous hand I was involved with pocket 5s on a king 9 high flop. So here with basically second pair in this spot, given that previous action, I don't think I'm going to be folding just yet. So I call the $15 and everyone else folds. The turn comes a 5, so we do improve to open-ended here as well. He moves his hands towards chips and then checks. Here, I think this is a pretty reliable tell and sign of weakness from my experience, especially at these low stakes. So, as much as I can check this back with second pair and open-ended, I think there might be a decent chance that I'm good here. So I throw out a small bet of $25, and he makes the call without too much thinking. The river comes a 6. So there's a 4-liner out there. We do river a set, and this is really interesting. He checks to us, and here with this line, given that he checked turn and the river now, I think a set has to be good here for sure. Trying to extract some value here, I decided to go for a bluffy-like sizing to $80. He tanks for a while. I'm hoping he's going to call with maybe just a pair of 8s or 2 pair holdings. So he tanks and ends up making the call. I show my hand, and we're good with our rivered set. So probably was behind, I guess, and just got really lucky on the river hitting our sets. But we'll take it. This next hand, picking up pocket 3s in the small blind. There's a player who opens up the action to $4. You heard it. We get a $4 open, and we're going 6 ways to the flop. So once again, another family pot here, and I'm in the small blind. The flop comes deuce, 3, 4, 2 hearts out there. So flopping middle sets, and I'm first to act. I decide to check, hoping to check raise here. I don't want to bet into this field just yet. I think there's a high likelihood of someone betting. Unfortunately not. Everyone checks around, so we're going to a turn 6 ways. The turn is the jack of spades. It's not really a card that changes much on this board. Having to bet now, I throw out $25. We get 2 callers in the big blind and cutoff. Made a note that the cutoff is a relatively new player, so we're going to go to a river, which comes the 5 of diamonds. Not a great card at all. 4-liner to a straight. It's very likely that probably the cutoff might have called with ace high. So we could have a straight here improved, so we just have to check here. The big blind jams a total of $31. And the cutoff now quickly makes the call. And I go into the tank here with a set on this board. My initial thoughts are to fold, but realistically, for $31, it seems like a really great price to just toss in some chips. Hope that somehow my set is good here. But also, I did realize that the cutoff, once again, is a new player, and he can call very, very wide. So I'm thinking maybe I can try to get some value from him. Maybe if I can min raise it, then I can get the $31 that I'm going to lose to the big blind if he does have a straight, if that makes any sense. If I raise the $62 and the cutoff player makes the call for a small side pot, then I can't really lose too much money on this river. So after thinking it over, I go with that option. I raised to $62, guaranteeing a call from the cutoff. Good news, he makes the call. And even better news, the big blind shows deuce 4 for 2 pair. The cutoff shows king jack for top pair. And somehow we take down the entire pot. And we're out. We are out of there with the profits. My goodness, we are in for $300, out for $597. Almost a $300 profit basically in 4 hours played. It only took a few sets, a few quads, but we finally made some money. My goodness, so we'll take that for sure. Yeah, so overall decent time. Like I said, 6-handed is just so much more fun than 9-handed. Forces everyone to open up their range, and I'm very happy with it. There was one guy that I just couldn't win against at all. He just kept kicking my ass, but it is what it is. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you got some entertainment out of it. Leave a like if you enjoyed, especially if you stayed all the way here, and comment down below for a chance to win one of the chips. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.